Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has announced plans by the government to recapitalize the Bank of Agriculture before the end of 2016 and lend at single-digit rates to Nigerians. Professor Osinbajo says the move is part of the government's efforts to revive and reposition agriculture as the arrowhead of economic development. The Vice President announced the plans at the public presentation of the Green Alternative Promotion Policy in Abuja.
For nearly 30 years, there was no alternative to oil and gas as a major revenue generation for the country. Even though Nigeria was largely agrarian, the agriculture sector was relegated to the background, giving way to huge food importation, gulping 32 billion naira every year. In attendance with some ministers, the Vice President told a gathering that the need to revive the sector has become necessary than ever, owing largely to an economic recession. The policy, he says, will serve to reposition agriculture for economic diversification.
The roadmap that we're about to present identifies two key challenges. The first is the inability to meet domestic food requirements. And two, the inability to export at levels required for market success. The Ministry of Finance has practically concluded plans to recapitalize and re-engineer the Bank of Agriculture. We expect that before the end of this quarter, the Bank of Agriculture should be ready to give single-digit interest rate loans to farmers.
The Minister of Agriculture, however, noted that Nigeria is now number 3 in the export of cocoa, behind Ivory Coast and Ghana.
We are spreading cocoa plantations across 23 states of the country. We were number 1 in cocoa, we're now number 3, way behind Ivory Coast and Ghana. It's an embarrassment. And we have new varieties of cocoa here that yield in 18 months instead of 4 years.
The official launch of the Green Alternative, a 4-year policy outlined in this book, is projected to refocus the economy and make Nigeria food self-sufficient. Fully aware of the path the nation's economy is now towing, the federal government is looking to make more revenue from exports, one of which is to return Nigeria back to its position as number 1 cocoa exporter. That's aside pumping in more funding into the agriculture sector. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the federal government is also laying emphasis on the need to continually educate Nigerians on the benefits of genetically modified organisms, and that's according to the Minister of Environment, Mrs. Amina Mohammed, at a meeting in Abuja. She said the enlightenment is necessary following recent concerns raised by some Nigerians on the adoption of the technology. She also says the government will continue to invest in capacity building for key players before coming up with a final position on the matter.
The issue of adoption of genetically modified organisms has for some time now generated heated debates in several fora, with many raising concerns about its health implication on humans and the environment. A genetically modified organism is the result of a laboratory process where genes from the DNA of one species are extracted and artificially forced into the genes of an unrelated plant or animal. Top government officials and key players in science and technology gathered here agree that while the adoption of the technology is a sure way to help in diversifying the Nigerian economy, it should focus on getting Nigerians to understand the benefits before it takes a stand.
And this country is pursuing, of course, the diversification of the economy, and we're about now to see the rollout of the agriculture strategy for this. And that's going to be about crops. It's going to be about our food chain. And that food chain is going to be bolstered and made better for us as Nigerians using science.
GMO crops include rice, cotton seeds, soya beans, banana, potatoes, cassava, and tomatoes. While GMO crops are known to have been widely accepted in the United States, some farmers and scientists in countries such as Bulgaria, Cyprus, Germany, Greece, to mention but a few, have resisted the technology. But it appears that Nigerians have before now been patronizing genetically modified crops consciously or unconsciously.
Nature has been mixing genes all along. It is what we have now that we consider as being natural. In some hundreds of years to come, the generations that will come after that will look at what you are considering as GMO as natural products.
While debate on the introduction of genetically modified organisms continue, many say that adopting it is a sure way of ending hunger and ensuring food security.
Let's cross over to our Abuja studios now. Here's Yemisi Ikpai. Yemisi.
Hello, Ijoma. Great to have you with us, and welcome to Abuja, the nation's capital. Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court Abuja has issued an interim injunction suspending the PDP convention until the motion filed by Ali Modu Sharif is heard and determined. He adds that a court of coordinate jurisdiction cannot give an order neutralizing the orders made by another court, and that any court that grants an ex parte injunction against a sister court is on its own. This judgment comes hours after a federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, River State, had granted relief sought by Senator Ben Obi and other members of the National Convention Committee of the People's Democratic Party, restraining the Inspector General of Police, Commissioner of Police, River State, Director of the Department of State Security Service, DSS, the Director, DSS, River State, and the Independent National Electoral Commission from interfering in the conduct of the party's convention slated for the 17th of August. The presiding judge, Justice Ibrahim Watila, in the interlocutory injunction, had also directed the security agencies mentioned in the suit to provide adequate security for the event and for INEC to be present. The former chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation, Abdul Mumin Jibrin, has written to the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, John Odiji Oyegun, apologizing for the role he played in the election of the returned Rep. Yakubu Dogara as Speaker of the House of Representatives. In his letter, the lawmaker also sought to furnish the party with details of the allegations he has put before anti-graft agencies in the country against the Speaker and some other lawmakers in the House of Representatives. Representative Jibrin has called on the party to direct Speaker Yakubu Dogara to reconvene the House and step down with other accused principal officers to allow for internal and external investigation into the matter. Ahead of the September the 10th governorship election in Edo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission has assured Nigerians that the Commission will continue to partner with political parties to strengthen the nation's democratic process. Speaking in Abuja while playing host to the new executive of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, says the Commission needs the support and goodwill of all political parties to succeed in delivering free, fair and transparent elections. The newly elected chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Mr. Mohamed Lawal, pledged the support of the Council in ensuring that the policies of the Commission are implemented.
I wish on this note to say that this relatively new commission, sworn in only on the 9th of November last year, has so far conducted 137 elections, ranging from rerun elections to by-elections and end-of-tenure elections. And as I've always said, this is the highest number of elections conducted by any commission outside the context of general election. We have 2 more this weekend. It will take the tally to 139, and we have other elections down the line. So to succeed, we'll continue to rely upon the support and goodwill of IPAC.
We'll do our best to make sure that we support INEC to implement all policies that will give us an enduring democracy in this country. And my colleagues, I want to use this medium to congratulate you and to assure you that I am going to be in consultation with you in whichever action I'm going to take as the chairman of IPAC. And I hope you give me all the necessary cooperation so that we can work together and deliver.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority outlines structure for new $700 million real estate and agriculture joint venture. Join us again.